everybody, welcome back to another video. This week's video is a little different, but it has been highly requested, and today we're going to be talking about my monthly expense living alone in the city. Also, it's 3:45 p.m. It suddenly started raining a lot in the city, so it's quite gloomy, hence the very warm, cozy lighting. I tried to use my light to kind of make it a little brighter, but it's giving very warm, cozy vibe, like late night vibes still. I hope you all are doing very well. I would like to start this video off with saying thank you to everyone who's been watching my videos and tagging me in the stories of you guys watching my videos. It really makes me so happy to see you guys enjoy my videos, especially since this is a huge step in the opposite direction of where my original content was, which was mainly gaming. And if you don't know, I'm also a gaming streamer, content creator. I am now diving into more lifestyle vlogs and just realistic living alone in the city. But going back to the start, we are going to be talking about my monthly expenses, and I have a whole spreadsheet here. I have filmed this video so many times, but realized that I left out a few expenses, so I wanted to make sure everything was accurate and stated in this video. So let's get on. Also, quickly before I start this video, I do want to tell people that this isn't the X amount you need to be able to move out or live alone. This isn't the standard. This isn't what you should expect, because once again, everybody lives their lives differently. Location wise, usage, consumption wise, it's all very different. But I wanted to share just how much I spend, and if ever you were planning to move out or live alone, here are some expenses you can also consider when you do decide to do that. So without further ado, let us begin. Let us start with my biggest expense every month while I live here, which is my rent expense. For those of you who are new here, I live in a 36 square meter condo in the city. It is quite an expensive city, I would say, compared to a lot of other cities in the Philippines. Hence why rent is a lot more expensive. So I pay $34,000 for this. I also cover this completely on my own expense, and I live alone. Of course, in different parts of the Philippines, they have different costs. This is where the importance of knowing your location or deciding which location you want to move to is very important. The next expense is the electricity expense, and I did talk about this in my previous vlogs and we revealed it together. But if you watch that, my electricity bill was $1,650.32. So ideally, my electricity consumption would stay between 1.5, but now that I am at home most of the time, I'm expecting my bill to go higher because I'm using more of my condo's electricity compared to when I was at the office for 9 hours a day. Next is water expense. So this is the tap water and bathroom, sink, toilet water, all that. To this day, I still don't know how much my water bill is because it goes in the same time as association dues, and my landlord handles that. But I know they will ask me to pay for that usually by the end of your lease or whenever they remind me to pay. I have followed up with them and they still haven't told me anything, but I'm expecting around 200 pesos for my water bill per month. And my reference to this was the 2-bedroom unit I lived with my sister when we lived together in Pasig. But now that I'm in a different city, I'm not entirely sure what to expect, but hoping that it is not above 200 per month. I also did hear from my friends that water expense in the city is a lot more expensive. So, hopefully it's not too high. The next expense is my internet expense. Now, this again varies for everybody. I personally need at least 200 Mbps because aside from creating content, I also am a streamer and play video games, and having fast, reliable internet is so important. So every month I pay around 1,699 pesos for 200 Mbps. Why did I say it like that? For 200 Mbps internet. And my ISP is PLDT. The next expense, again, this is different for everybody. This is my subscription expense. So what I mainly need and probably would not survive if I didn't have would be my Adobe Premiere Pro and my thematic premium subscription. So the Adobe Premiere Pro is my video editing software. It is what I use to edit this video, to edit my reels, to edit almost everything. It all happens through Adobe Premiere Pro, and I don't see myself switching to anything quite yet. So I'm really getting my money's worth off of this software. And this is 1,146 pesos. And I believe they are increasing their prices by the next time I pay. My thematic subscription is actually annually, but if we divide it into 12 months, it's about 506 pesos per month. And thematic is what I use for the background music and my vlogs, and they just give me a very easy way to be licensed with them just by being subscribed to them annually. The next expense is my grocery expense. I've been living here for almost 3 months, and I wouldn't say that I'm the best at knowing what to grocery for. I will admit I still do eat out and treat myself to some good food, especially when it's a little too hassle for me to cook or if I'm too busy. But it's nice to know that I have the option to just cook food at home in case I really want to save more money. I allot about 3,500 pesos per month for my groceries, which is a little compared to other people. I've noticed some people spend like 3K per run and they go to the groceries 2 times a month. So I try to budget myself to do 3-5 for the whole month, given that I still do eat out or, treat myself to a good ramen bowl every now and then. I can say that my grocery expense has been more or less been followed. In this past month, I've spent 3,775. Okay, that's a little over my budget, but it's usually when you've just moved in that you have to stock up on a lot of things which you will normally not repurchase every time you go. So I'm allowing it to go a little bit over the budget, knowing that I'm not going to be repurchasing a lot of the things that I got until they run out, which will probably take 2 to 3 months. But the ones that I will be repurchasing every now and then would be the goods that spoil easily, like the vegetables, if I want more fresh meat, or fruits and juice, and just the ones that I would consume on a daily. Next is the mineral water expense, which is usually included in the grocery expense, but I started a subscription, or it's not really a subscription. I started getting the big containers, which are called carboys. I never knew they were called carboys until I googled it, but those big gallon containers, I have 5 of those, and to get started you need 5 empty big containers. And since I didn't have any of those, I asked if they could provide me some, and they said it would cost 1,250, which is really expensive. Given that I live alone, I don't really see that it's practical, knowing that I won't be able to finish 5 gallons, not even gallons, 5 huge containers of water in the span of 1 month. I do know in the long term it'll be easier for me. Like, I would probably only ever have to refill this 2 to 3 times my entire year of living here. Just hoping that the water doesn't get spoiled sitting out for too long. And then once all those 5 containers are finished, I send them back and they replace them with 5 more containers for 250 pesos. So the next expense I like to keep in mind every month is how much I'm allotting to my Grab or transportation expense. Sometimes I go back home to Cavite where my parents are, and that is a Grab plus a bus ride from here. And that usually costs me around 300 pesos to go back. So I like to allot that. The only problem now is that I live with my dogs, so it's kind of hard to go on the bus. Or it's not hard. You're not allowed to go on a bus with pets. I usually just wait for them to pick me up. But aside from going back and forth home, I do like to allot some of my expenses towards my Grab or my transportation fees. In case it's raining, in case it's an emergency, I like to allot around 1,500. Ideally, like 1,000 is max per month to Grab. And this month, I have spent 1,396 pesos on my Grab. Moving on to my next expense, which isn't, I would say it's still monthly for me, but if you don't have this, you don't even have to worry. But I do live with my dogs. This is Bucky. He is on my bed right now because it's been raining and there have been a little bit of thunder, and he is quite scared of that. So he was shaking earlier, but if he's on my bed or if he's close to me, he feels more safe. Ayun, if you guys have dogs, you also have to allocate expenses for them. And it's so true, when you do get a dog, they are pricey and it's a huge responsibility. It's definitely something that I learned when I first got my first dog, Penny, who is on the floor right now. When I first got her, I didn't really expect how expensive or like how much you have to pay for them until you're in that moment. I mean, I grew up with dogs in my family, but of course it would be my parents paying for their expenses. But Penny and Bucky were the first dogs that I had to fully cover for. Honestly, it's worth it for me. I don't really ever try to think about how expensive they are, because the joy my dogs bring and just staring at them and they're so cute just is so worth and much more the money I spend. But let us discuss the expenses of owning 2 small dogs when you live alone. First pet expense are their dog food. I put them on Chihuahua food, but recently I'm switching them over to Ex-Adult, and Penny is going to be going to a dog food that's more catered to her coat because she's been having skin problems. So around that, for a month, 2 bags of dog food would be 1,653 pesos. And I just checked this out earlier because I needed to restock. But I would say more or less 1,600 pesos for their dog food for the whole month. Next are my dog's vitamins. It's also very important to make sure your dogs are getting the amount of vitamins and supplements that they need. So I make sure to invest in that. I put them on their vitamin C gel kind of treat that they like. It's not really a treat. It's like a gel that you squeeze out a tube. That is around 399 or almost like 400 pesos. And I wouldn't say I would buy that every month. It would last me almost 2 months because they don't take a lot. But yeah, that is an expense I allocate. Next expenses are my dog's diapers and their pee pads. So the diapers for my male dog, they cost around 403 pesos. That's with shipping. Now I order online. And then their dog pads are 499, also ordered online. Next are their dog poop bags for when I walk them. I use these biodegradable lavender scented poop bags or something like that, and they come in like packs of 9, I believe. 9 rolls of poop bags with 15 bags in each roll. It cost me about 183 pesos. Next, dog treats. I need to have dog treats all the time because it is the only way my dogs will ever listen to me. If I'm walking them or if I'm calling them, I just pull out the dog treats and they come. So aside from it being like a fun little snack that they have, it also helps me control them a little more. So I recently just repurchased their dog treats and they come in 3 bags. Sorry if the camera's wobbling. Bucky is like moving around the bed. They come in 3 bags and it was 1,199 for 3 bags. And I'm pretty sure that would last me like a month and a half or 2 months even. The next expense would be my dog's wipes. So every time I walk them and they come back, I have to wipe their feet. But I am thinking of switching to like a dog cleaning thing. That way I wouldn't need to keep buying wipes. Of course, I would still need wipes to, wipe their bum when they've done a little poo-poo every now and then, The next expense are their grooming. I don't get them groomed all the time, especially with they're really short haired, and like Bucky, he's long haired, but it doesn't get unruly. So that would probably be like every other 3 months. But that alone costs, it depends on where I go. If I go back home, it's around 600 to 900. If I do it in the city, it's like 1.5. So I don't think I would ever get them groomed in the city again. But I do have to bring them to get their nails trimmed and their like butt hair trimmed, which can cost around 600 in the city, and back in Cavite it would cost around like less than 200 for that. Okay. The next expense I lot are my self-care expense. I'm all about self-care and like feeling good with myself and pampering myself. I think that's very important. And like a monthly expense, I would say would be my lashes and my nails, but I'm starting to not do lashes and nails every month, only when there's an occasion. Like my lashes, I just got done this morning because I have an event tomorrow and then it's my birthday next week. And the last time I got my lashes done were for my brother's wedding in March. So I don't do them all the time now, and I also really love my natural lashes, but whenever there's a special little event, I would get them done. My nails, I haven't done them in a while. I am letting them breathe and heal because I got really traumatized. The last time I got my nails done, they were flaking off. They were so bad. So now I only ever get them like cut and shaped and like cleaned, and that would be it, which is a lot more cheaper and feels healthier too. So I would say these lash extensions were $750, but with the transportation expense going there, it could get to $1,050. But I lot around $1,200 for my lashes. And my last self-care expense are my facials. I have acne-prone skin, and my skin is just not the best right now. It's healing. It's going through it. But I do get monthly facials, if not monthly, every 2 weeks. I get facials at Skin Station or at another clinic that just helps clear my skin and extract all the gunk under. That costs around, I would say, $900 because I had it on promo. So every session is $900. And I try to go at least once a month, but sometimes it becomes 2 times a month if my skin is really bad. My total others expense would be 6,833.7 pesos. And my total needs expense would be 45,624.68 pesos, which brings us to a total expense of, what am I hearing? I'm hearing like hammering. Which brings us to a total of expense of 52,458.38 pesos per month. That's expensive. That's expensive. But you know what? Living alone has been a journey for me. I have definitely, why do I say words so weird today? I've definitely learned how to budget more of my money and to be more aware of how much I spend. And I think ever since I moved in, I've been trying to conserve as much energy as I could. You know, I only use the AC, I would say max 6 hours a day. On average, it would be like 2 to 3 hours a day before I go to bed. But on the days that I end up streaming or the days I have friends or guests over, it could go up to like 6 hours a day. I mainly just use my electric fan and that's it. I also, since I got my electricity bill the beginning of this month, I have stopped using the water heater because I realized, why am I paying for hot water when it's already so hot in the Philippines? I should be enjoying the cold water. And honestly, ever since I made that switch, I have just been feeling a burst of energy and I just feel so like ready to start the day. And you guys should try it too. Just don't shower with hot water anymore. It's not good for your hair. It's not good for your skin. Just go for the cold water. Not even cold. Go for the normal temperature water. It's great. Of course, I have another spreadsheet of my etc. expenses. Now, these are where I splurge and buy things that I want or the amount of times I eat out. Someone is hammering really loud. The amount of times I eat out, I also have it listed down, and I don't think I'm going to talk about it in this video. All right, I am going to end the video here because there is some construction going on and they are hammering. So, I will go now. But thank you for watching till the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm trying to come up with different ideas per video. That way it's not just you watching me like you're a CCTV watching some person live their life. I'm gonna try to keep it informative and beneficial for you guys, you know, at the same time. So I'm gonna try to come up with interesting and creative ideas. And if you have any suggestions or ideas, leave them in the comments down below. I love hearing your thoughts and your ideas as well. And I would love to just make content catered for whatever you guys would prefer to. But till then, I will see you guys around on social media or on my live streams on Twitch. Bye now. Oh, also, P.S. Should I start a podcast? Because I'm really liking this like chit-chat, yapping, talking talking thing, but maybe we could do a podcast about life. We can do a podcast about just anything under the sun. We could do a podcast about red flags, or a podcast about self-care and self-love. We could do that. Okay. Anyways, let me know what you think. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.